Hi guys, right, this might be a touchy subject. In fact, there's no might about it. This is going to be a touchy subject. I am sick to the back teeth of seeing videos ex-witch exposed, exposing the enemy, ex-witch turns to Christ. Look, I try not to entertain these things, but I feel like I have to make this video because there's a lot of you guys who watch me who have been traumatized by religion. And no matter what the religion is, Christianity or otherwise, it is man-made, all right? There's no two ways about it. It's man-made. And there are a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of flaws, as well as, well, I want to say good things, but it's hard to pick the good out of these things. Now, I am very much a believer in live and let live, and I've got nothing against Christians per se. I've got nothing against anyone who's Jewish or a Muslim or a Sikh or a Hindu or whatever your religion is, Abrahamic or not. Each their own. We all find our own way. What I do have an issue with is these arseholes, and there's no two ways about it, making other people's life a misery with their derogatory dogma, let's say. Recently, at time of filming, I haven't reacted to it, but in America, there was a woman who posted a video of 40-odd Christians showing up to her metaphysical shop while she was there by herself, and they were all preaching to her, singing outside, and they apparently don't think that's threatening. That is threatening. It doesn't matter if you're Christian or what. 40-odd people showing up outside of somebody's place of work when they're a lone woman by themselves in the middle of the night. It was dark out. That's intimidating. That's threatening. And the guy behind it all is a big YouTuber who is one of these sorts of people that sensationalizes things and exposes the devil. And let's just call a spade a spade. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's not Christ-like at all. And as somebody, I've got no problem with Jesus or Yeshua, and I feel he would not approve. In fact, I know he would not approve, because what these types of people do is they perpetuate behaviours that he endured in his lifetime. If you want to believe what happened in your Bible happened, he was persecuted, he was unalived because of people like this, all right? And you're just doing what the enemy wants you to do. Who's the real enemy? Well, now that rant's out the way, I want to talk about it some more. So I watched a video recently. I'm not going to link it because there's a million of them, but I've made some notes on it, okay, about the character these sorts of people who are ex-witches are, all right? Is it a problem with witchcraft itself, or is it a problem with them? You can probably guess, but let's get into it. Now, despite the nature of this video, hello, welcome, and welcome back. I'm Sarah, that divination witch, and this channel, I try and make it a safe space. Everyone is welcome. You don't have to be a witch to be here. We're all different. We've all got our own way of doing things. I set this up to be a community so people can ask questions and share opinions. Nothing silly. Ask. We don't judge, okay? It's only when people are harmful, like the subject matter of this video, that we may judge. But other than that, live and let live. If you want to join the community, hit subscribe. And if you want to support the channel further, all my links are below. I do readings, I've got a website, Etsy, I've got Patreon as well. On Patreon, I've taught tarot, and we're going through the Year of the Dark Goddess, which basically means looking at different archetypes and lessons we can learn, okay? It's nothing too far out there. So if you're interested, go check it out. Okay, I watched a video that was a sort of podcast. Now I say I watched the video, I couldn't watch the whole lot, I couldn't stomach it. It's not just these people. Like I say, there's a plethora of them on YouTube, and unfortunately I keep getting recommended them. And it's not because I watch them, it's because in the algorithm it kind of sees the word witchcraft and thinks that I might be interested, and I'm like, no. So let's dive into it. Exposing the Enemy, this was called, and it was like a podcast he set up with 4 different women. And honestly, I couldn't get through hearing the backgrounds of all the women, because I've watched so many other videos like this, similar ilk. Doreen Virtue is one such character, if you look her up, geez. So let's talk about their backstories, what they say. So the first person said that they were not raised in the church, but they went to witchcraft due to anxiety and depression. They felt that they wanted to feel something, and they did, but they kept feeling even more anxious apparently, so it didn't cure their anxiety, witchcraft. And then they met somebody in their life who seemed to them apparently to radiate positive energy, and this person said that they're going to pray to Jesus for them. And apparently when this person prayed to Jesus for the witch, Jesus healed her of her anxiety and depression. She started to feel better instantly. Let's unpack this. So, you, like a lot of us on any spiritual journey, you are going through some things, some negative things, and you want to find answers and healing. There's nothing wrong with that. She doesn't describe what branch of witchcraft she is into or anything like that. I am assuming something more new agey from the other people. But okay, you're trying out spirituality and whatever. All right, it didn't work for you. All right, why didn't it work for you? It's because you can't wave a magic wand, no pun intended. Witchcraft is not here to fix your life's problems. Witchcraft is a craft. It's not even about spirituality. It links in with it, but witchcraft can be spiritual, it can be pagan, it can be secular, it can be left-hand path and occultism, it can be right-hand path and fluffy stuff. Like, it can be many things. There are witches out there who are healing, and there are witches out there that only do things, for themselves. And there are witches out there that are curses for hire. There's a big spectrum, like in everything. Like I say, I don't tar all Christians with this brush. For example, there are some nice Christians out there, whereas you get some asshats like this. There are some nice witches out there. There are some wicked witches out there. It's not the craft, it's the person. Now, you said that somebody prayed for you and holy shit, your problems are cured. Good for you if that's the case. However, what people forget is that you need to take ownership for your own responsibilities, for your own problems, okay? Now, this branch of Christianity, evangelicalists, whatever, they want to take away all the free will, all the thought. And they want to say, Jesus will do it for me. God will do it for me. My life is not my own. God controls me. Jesus controls me. It's a pseudo science in a way. It's a band-aid over a wound that is not healed. Jesus may have in the Bible performed miracles in the name of God and all of this, but he also told people to do things the way he did things. So, love thy neighbour, for example. He didn't wave a magic wand for everyone. What he tried to teach, even in your teachings, was to be like him. To be loving to each other, to be kind to each other. And that's fixing the issues, okay? Like, at the end of the day, he may have came to you may believe this, and fair enough, even if he cured your anxiety overnight. It doesn't mean nothing bad can ever happen to you. It doesn't mean you've got some superhero that you can just flash the bat signal in the sky. Oh, Jesus symbol, come to me rescue. But it doesn't work like that. And that's the same for any divinity. Okay, I don't expect Hecate to fix my life. Hecate guides people, and she guides you to where you need to be for you to do the work. Apollo, a healing god, wouldn't expect him to do everything. You can ask for his help, you can ask for his guidance, but you've got to help yourself. So I really feel you were looking for something that was impossible, to be quite honest, and you might believe that Jesus has gave you that, fair enough, whatever. But it doesn't mean that's going to keep happening, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't fix yourself, even if you believe in Jesus and love him and whatever, and that, that's fine. That's great. But I'm sure he himself would want you to look after yourself and other people as well. And be kind. Right. And the next person on this was an ex-Catholic, suffered anxiety, suicidal ideation, bullying, self-harm, really dark things. In 2014, their grandma died while this person was on a cruise, apparently. And they said that was the worst thing they've ever gone through because they had to wait to go home. And at the time, they went to a medium to speak with their grandma. And they said about how it seemed commonplace and innocent because of TV shows like Long Island Medium. And then they went down a rabbit hole after that, got into tarot, crystals, Reiki, yoga. So that sounds very new age to me. No offense to anybody, I don't mean that derogatory, but it does sound like that. And they said that was for 10 years. They studied astrology as well, and they kept getting something called ascension symptoms. Very new age terminology. And they say that these things are demonic. And again, Jesus saved them from it all overnight. Let's unpack some things here. So what are ascension symptoms? I mean, this is a new age term. But I believe it's where people think, I guess some people would call it dark night of the soul. It's when you go on a spiritual journey, when your life feels like it's falling apart and bad things feel like they're happening to you to make way for the good. That is a common theme in any spiritual path. I've been through it myself. But that doesn't mean it's demonic. The reason it happens is because you are, clearly not this person though, maybe at one point they were, but I think it got too much for them, to be honest. But the reason sometimes it feels like your life's falling apart when you're on spiritual paths, and this might sound new agey, but it doesn't matter if it's what side of the spectrum this is. When you are learning, you are raising your vibration. You can call it like that. You can say you are expanding your knowledge. Your energy is shifting. Your energy is changing. Your resonance is changing. So even in a psychological way, people change and grow all the time. The more you learn, the more you grow, and therefore your attitude may change. So when our attitude changes, things and people that we've had in our lives for so long no longer resonate. I myself have been through it. I've gone through losing jobs, I've gone through losing friendships, I've gone through all sorts that at the time felt like it was the end of the world. But I made it through. And I was stronger for it. That's the ascension symptoms. Because even on a psychological level, this is where people drift apart. Even if you're not spiritual, you can drift apart depending on your life experiences. Somebody that you went to school with could have been your best friend throughout school, and then as you grow up, you got nothing in common with them anymore, and you drift apart. It's like that. So the more you learn, the more you grow, and the more you change, and therefore situations and things change. We as humans hold on to things that don't serve us. we as humans like to be comfortable. So if we are in a job, I was guilty of that myself, decade-long job that was sucking the life out of me. And I stuck with it because it was my comfort zone. It's all I knew. I was scared to do anything else. But now look at me, I'm doing this full time. I'm not saying it's smooth sailing by any means, but I'm doing it. And me 10 years ago would have never thought that, because my resonance has changed. The company I kept at that time, I no longer keep. The interests I had even have changed. I used to go to a lot of Comic-Cons. I used to go to like nerdy things, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you like it. But my resonance has changed. It just doesn't jive with me anymore. That doesn't mean it's demonic because I've changed. It's called growing up. It's called growing in general. It's life. And any spiritual path, left hand, right hand, whatever, you should be prepared for that. But clearly this person kept going through those things and hadn't deprogrammed, hadn't worked through fear, and so jumped on the Jesus train. Quick fix. He's my saviour. He's going to fix my life, fix my problems. That's the way these people see him as. I honestly feel that these types of videos are preying on vulnerable people. And I hate to say it, but there's a lot of Americans, a lot of people from the USA doing these videos. Not everyone, but a lot. And it's because in the USA, you guys have a big evangelical community, big new agey Christian, like newer, that's what I want to say, not new age, but newer sects of Christianity that are very extreme. Because they think that preaching in the way they do from fear is helping. They honestly think that. They honestly think that that's the right thing to do. I get them on my videos all the time. That's why I won't link this video. I won't comment on these sorts of things. But I see them and I'm like seething a little bit, because I have even members in my Patreon, for example, who broke away from toxic things like that. It's because they don't know any better, because they are, I'm sorry to say it, but they're sheep. And they are sticking in their comfort zone that they think is right, and they're going along with it because their family maybe do, the community does, they don't know any better, they're going along with it. Now those who try and break free, who try to see outside of that worldview, it's very difficult, especially if you are still in that environment. They are ridiculed, they are bullied, they are pressured by the brainwashed ones, because it is brainwashing. They think that scaring people to Jesus is converting people, is the right way to go and all this stuff. But Jesus, I feel, knows what is in a person's heart. And if somebody genuinely found him of their own accord, not being fear-mongered into it, I think that's a lot different to someone who's pressured into it and doesn't have that real connection. And that could be the same for any God or higher power, okay? But I feel he knows what's in a person's heart. And there's a lot of people in these cult-like things that are threatening and toxic and nasty. Like those who turned up at that woman's shop. They were singing about burning people as well. Like, that's frightening. He knows what's in their heart. If you are truly doing this for the right reasons, then they call it the good word, don't they? Tell people the good word and give them the information, your story, and fucking leave it there. Sorry for swearing, but it gets me passionate, because something I have learned on my path with my goddess is that you cannot force somebody to change their mind. They may go along with it because they're pressured, but it's not what their heart really wants. It's out of fear. They're saving their own bacon. And that's not a way to find any God, any higher power to have any sort of real connection. So these ex-witches, what I'm trying to say, those are the two off that video. But I've seen others. I mean, there's one that gets on with Doreen Virtue, who was in the Order of the Golden Dawn, and she paints it like some drug-fueled frenzy. That's a reflection of her. And I'm sorry to say it, because she has suffered, and I feel for her. That's her mental health. Not everyone who's an occultist does drugs. Not everyone who's an occultist is dark. Not everyone who's an occultist is out there worshipping demons and devils and or whatever you want to call it. You know, there are people of all varieties that are witches or whatever. Like, I'm just tired of seeing it. It's very medieval feeling. And there's others as well out there that say signs of witches attacking you, signs of a witch doing this, and talking about them like, well, like me, like we are some supernatural being. This is not Roald Dahl, like the Witches movie. We don't peel a mask off and we're suddenly hideous hags. I mean, it is like we're humans, like you. It's just we call magic what you call prayer, or what someone else may call manifestation. It's ingredients. It's like baking a cake. You know, we believe everything holds energy at the end of the day, and we put those things together to manifest something into fruition. Now, you can get nasty Christians out there starting cults. You can get nasty Christians out there unaliving people and abusing people. I mean, a lot of the Catholic priests, look at that as an example. There are so many corrupt people everywhere, regardless of their religion, regardless of their politics, regardless of their gender or their sexuality. It's a person's heart. And I feel like I have to say this. A person's heart matters. I recently responded to somebody on the channel who claims to be a light worker, and all that person does is tear people down, including myself, calling me a Satanist. I don't even really believe in Satan in the way that Christians do, you know? I've got a video all about that. Like, these people are horrible, and it's a person's heart. You can call yourself light, you can call yourself a Christian, say you're with God, but your actions speak louder than words. And these people spreading hate, exposing themselves, I feel, in these videos, it's not so much witchcraft. You've went to something to fix your life, it didn't work, now that's the bad guy. And you have exposed your own flaws on the internet, like saying you were doing drugs, saying you were so down and all this crap. And yeah, that's my opinion. I made the video to expose the exposers. I've got nothing against religion as long as it's not this brand of it, you could say. All right, it is man-made, that's the way I feel, but there's a lot of things in the occult that are man-made too, path workings, things like this. Just don't be an a-hole, basically. Yeah, what you put out there is what you get back. Yeah, I also acknowledge, and I've done a video about that too, that there are Christian witches, and each their own. Live and let live here, very much so. So I hope it hasn't offended anyone, but I had to make this video to help those that this shit impacts the most. Those with the trauma of these, for lack of a better way of putting it, nut jobs. Because it is nutty, I feel anyways. That's my opinion. Take it or leave it. If you made it this far and you liked it, you know what to do. Hit subscribe. Check out the channel. I've got all sorts of different playlists talking about different sides of the coin, different spectrum, paganism, witchcraft, spirituality, all sorts. And yes, until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.